Of this show are recorded.
Strap in and be prepared.
Curious what the narrative's going to be now about the Oregon football team.
Did they get another unranked win?
Another unranked win. You know, you just can't get out of your own way, folks.
Interesting guests.
Kelly Graves, Mike Parker, Josh Pate, Melissa Lombardi, Yogi Roth, who said that Justin and I are smart.
Sharp opinions.
What's amazing to me is we're talking about a 10-1 team that's 7-1 in the Big Ten, like they're underdogs.
I know.
It's like, wow, how did that happen?
And some smiles.
No, I really put some effort in there.
And there was no try, there was just do, and you did. So no, I was
Yoda.
because
It's Danny Hamill.
I mean, it's wave after wave after wave after wave of talent. That's good coaching. That is that whole culture, next man up attitude.
Justin Grossweiner.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Thank God for the Beavers. They saved the weekend for me.
Danny and Justin starts now on Fox Sports Eugene and Fox Sports Newport.
Hello, neighbors, and welcome high top the Delta Triad, the Crystal Palace, the Fox Sports Eugene, Fox Sports Newport studios. This is the Danny and Justin radio program. You can follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky, Danny and Justin, wherever you pod. Danny and Justin are the fastest 60 minutes. We're live from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios and the Oregon Man Clinic's hotline at 541-343-5673. Boy, oh boy, there are elephants in the room. We can't get away from them. We're going to talk about some rumors, some news possibly breaking about the Oregon football program. Not great if it's true, but we'll kick that around. We're going to have the CEO and president of the Peach Bowl, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Gary Stokan, on the program. He is retiring after decades sitting in the CEO chair, positions he's held since 1998. And his last go-around, he'll talk about the Peach Bowl, its history, college football, and the future, and what you could do in Atlanta when you're down there, if you're going to be traveling down there to watch the semifinal between Oregon and Indiana. I'm Danny Howell. Right over there is my tag team partner. We call him Baby J, but he goes by his Christian name, Justin Grossweiner. What a boy!
You know, I actually do have a Jewish name, right? It's Yair.
Okay, so you don't go by that,
I don't
though.
go by that, no.
So that's why I said it's your Christian name.
All right.
That is the proper way of saying that, even though you are Jewish. So
It's very true.
All right. Well, my friend, that's in the last couple of hours, it's been interesting, and things that we could debate about sources, information that comes out that hasn't been verified. And if you stayed off social media in the last couple of hours, you don't know that Aaron Fentress from the Oregonian has broke what he, and it's not a story, it's just a couple of lines on Twitter saying that he's hearing from a source, I didn't do air quotes, I'm going to do the air quotes, from a source that Oregon freshman running back Jordan Davidson has broken his clavicle, which is the collarbone, and is not going to be available possibly for the rest of the playoffs. Very likely, he put in big letters. He says, I can't imagine a running back playing with a broken collarbone. I can't either. I'm just curious because I went to Zach Neal and asked him, does he hear it's true? He says, yeah, I hear it's true, but also he heard from Matt Preem, another writer that follows the Ducks, that he saw Jordan Davidson in practice yesterday. Mm-hmm. So I don't know who to believe, except the first official injury report is going to come out at 5:10 Pacific time tonight. That will, if it's Jordan Davidson's on there as an out or a questionable, who knows? But if he's not, he's not. What do you think?
I think we're going to find out at 5:20, basically.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that I'm leaning toward this is true, but there's a good amount of skepticism. I don't know what percentage I'd give it. I said to somebody earlier, 25% I think this is just fake. But I think it might be closer to 60-40. Who knows? I think this could be one of those things.
60-40 fake or 60-40 true?
60-40 true. I definitely lean toward this being true. So we're hearing enough smoke at this point where, and honestly, it's so on brand for Oregon. How many times has there been a big game? I can just think of the Kayvon Thibodeau injury. I know there's been a bunch of other ones.
But we could do our sleuthing here, and I think you and I were coming up with some pretty good reasons to say we don't think it's true. And some of them would have been Jaden Lamar and Jay Harris, both, and Lamar was just today. Mm-hmm. Harris was a day or so ago, right?
I think so. It was sometime recently. It was after the Texas Tech game.
It was right after, which is a whole other thing with the transfer portal and why you would do that. But if truly Jordan Davis is hurt, and we're not saying he's not, okay? That's the first thing I want to throw out there, is that we're not dismissing the report. We're not saying Aaron Fentress is wrong or the information he's gotten is wrong. Any of that is, if you were a Jaden Lamar and you were the next guy up, and Mekhi Hughes he's gone. He's already signed with Houston, okay? Wouldn't you stick around for the national semifinal game? What's the hurry to go out the door if you pretty much are going to be assured of getting some significant reps in the game?
Exactly. And I don't think it would hurt your chances on film to get some national semifinal tape, for
or
a
possibly
team.
National championship tape.
Exactly. So I think that's definitely something that I would lean. That's why I'm thinking it's not 100%. Like, I don't think this is 100% true. I don't think it's 100% false. I really do. I fall in the middle. We have been talking all season long about the fact that this running back room is deep, the deepest position on the team. The thing is, they've lost all but 2 or 3 of them. DeJuan Riggs would be behind Noah Whittington.
Okay, but
and
how many
De'Aaron
of those guys
Jr.
are really insignificant pieces of the game we're seeing the field? Not a lot of them. That's part of the reason why they're looking at the roadmap.
Lamar legitimately saw the field early in the season before his injury, and so did Davison, obviously.
And that's why it's more quizzical to me, is that if it's at 5:20, as you say, you and I are going to be tweeting back and forth when the injury report comes out. If he's on it, then we know what's going on.
Yeah.
And that means that Noah Whittington and De'Aaron Hill and not Riggs, right?
It would be DeJuan Riggs.
It would be DeJuan would have to carry the load in the running back field, and that means the what is it? The razor thin margin now is going to be razor thin. You can't have somebody else go down, because otherwise you're going to start getting guys, and you can't go to the defensive back room because that defensive back room is decimated. So, I mean, guys like that maybe who played running back in high school or whatever and then moved to a different position might be a guy that would be like an emergency, but you don't want to be risking that at this level when you're playing that competition.
Maybe a wide receiver usually, but at this point, I mean, you don't want to stick DeCorian Moore back there because you don't want him to get hit a bunch. That's what running backs do. They get hit a bunch.
And that's why Noah Whittington came back from an injury and has performed really well. It's a tough position to play.
No, I think that what's going to happen is that if that's true and we do see Jordan Davison out of this game, I think we're just going to see a 2-back set. I think we're just going to see 2 running backs. We might see DeJuan Riggs for like 3 carries, but I think they're just going to roll with those top 2 guys. No, let's not forget that Noah Whittington, and I was thinking about this because they don't really have anything that can replicate Jordan Davison. He's a big dude. Yeah. But Noah Whittington hits really hard for his size.
Yeah. Ask the Illinois cornerback last year.
On the goal line. Exactly. That's what I thought about. I was like, you know what?
He can run over some guys.
I think they'd be okay, maybe.
And then we were talking about, putting Kenyon Sadiq in the backfield in a goal line situation. Hand him the ball. I mean, we're already talking about all these scenarios that if it's true that Jordan Davison is out, what would that do to the Oregon offense? And it might mean that it's going to be more pass happy, which might end up being a good strategy anyway, because it didn't seem like the running game was able to churn out significant yards against this Indiana front on the defensive side. And I think Dante Moore's learned a lot in the last 8 games about how to climb the pocket and be able to find receivers and not have to go for the home run ball all the time or wait for that home run ball and find what the defense is giving them.
I would agree. But the thing is, we talked to Don Fisher yesterday, and what's the first thing he said about this Oregon team? If you can make them one-dimensional, then you really like where you're at. So you don't want to get to the point where you just abandon the run and just go pass happy.
I agree with you, but I mean, isn't that – I could probably plug that line into every single coach talking about every single opponent.
I think it's yes, I agree with you, but I also think it's very true in this game. It's something that when Oregon – has had the most trouble, it's because their run hasn't been the best. I mean, against Washington, their run wasn't like awesome. They had some decent runs, but Washington.
But then the passing game picked it up.
They did, and that's what won them the game. But that was also a fairly close game, wasn't it? 24-20 or something like that. 24. It was
16 something.
Yeah, it was like a 10-point game, 7-point game. Like, it
Yeah.
wasn't like this blowout or anything like that. So I do think that's the formula against Oregon. You stop the run, and I think if Davidson's out, it's a slightly easier task than if he's in.
So we've got some audio.
We do.
So
and you mentioned Dante Moore rolling out and his ability to move in the pocket. I think that's something that he did talk about. Okay. Not just that, about the preparation and the difference between the preparation, because he talked about how in the last game he treated it like this different sort of game, and he hasn't been doing that this week.
Like you say, in the past I talked about it. It was just made the game bigger than what it was, and this week I kind of just attacked it like how I've been doing these past weeks. Making sure I have the same routine when it comes to, watching film, preparing my body, just getting ready for this moment like I've been doing with, JMU and, Texas Tech. But, yeah, this week, we're still the same offense. We're just, having fun. Of course, practice, we've been having, some little bit of mistakes, but that's what practice is all about. You got to learn from it. But, yeah, Indiana's, a great competitive team, and we're just ready to go out there and, play football. It's 11-11 at the end of the day, and we're excited for it.
Second roll left.
Yeah, I was too fast.
And I think part of that is the ability to watch what didn't go right. So the team, I absolutely believe that the team who lost the first game in a head-to-head matchup has an advantage because they know what they could do better. And the team that won the game has a harder time. Yes, a coach is still going to drill down and go, you missed that block. You didn't do that right, even though you won the game. These things did. But I think in a player's mentality sometimes, it's like, yeah, but we won the game, coach. Mm-hmm. We got past those things. Again, the margin for error for both of these squads is going to be infinitesimal. It is going to be very, very slight.
Well, let's think about Oregon last year against Ohio State. They beat Ohio State the first time, and it wasn't the sense of, well, we beat him one time, this will be easy. It was just like, all right, like that was really difficult, and we beat them on, a one play. They kind of got maybe a little lucky with Will Howard not sliding down quite fast enough, and you mentioned the rules as well. They got that 12th man on the field penalty, which was pretty brilliant as well. So for the Ducks, I mean, also, this is notable too. It's a sixth rematch in a playoff game.
Okay.
And the original losers in rematches in the first 5 are 4-1. And I believe the one loss is Tulane and Ole Miss, which happened this year.
Right.
And
I think you're right.
I think that's the only one.
Okay.
So historically, it's been pretty good for the rematches.
Danny and Justin radio program, we got some more audio as well.
We do.
Okay.
So you mentioned rolling out, and I think that the pocket movement for Dante after that game was something that we said, hey, could have been better.
Yeah.
And I think he would agree.
Yeah, I was too fast on my progressions. There was some times where there was an open guy, and you can say I was kind of seeing ghosts out there. It was more of just trying to get through my progressions too fast. And another thing, too, is when I climb into the pocket, I tend to, I was trying to rush and get out. And there were some times where I can climb into the pocket and there was no need for me to move. So those are probably the two biggest things. Just got to, learn from there. But, yeah, I'm feeling real confident and excited.
So we're saying what we kind of want to hear, right, Danny?
Absolutely.
That's the things that we talked about. So it's good that he's articulating those things himself. One thing that I don't think he will be able to articulate, even if the team does know about Jordan Davison, about some of these other injuries, is they're not going to talk directly about, hey, what are we going to do if this guy's out of the game? But he does talk about sort of the challenges of dealing with the transfer portal and dealing with injuries and all the distractions in college football right now.
Yeah, this whole year we've been doing a great job when it comes to next man up mentality. A lot of players have stepped up for us. But yeah, it's a lot of distractions going on in college football right now. Portal, NIL, people being hurt. But Coach Landon's doing a great job making sure we're focused. Understanding that there's only 4 teams left. These are things that you dreamed of, I don't know if Oregon's ever been in a Orange Bowl or a Chick-fil-A Bowl. Like, these are things that as a kid that you, just wish for, and you got to be present where your feet is at. Of course, the portal has a window of when it opens and closes. So, a lot of it is just, business. People got to make their decisions and go from there. But, we're just more excited. We're ready for this game, and we're ready to get going.
By the way, that transfer portal opened up on Friday, January 2nd. It runs through January 16th. There's an extra 5-day window for teams that are playing in the national championship game. So, and Oregon's already, it's been well documented. We'll talk about it a little bit more in the last segment of the program for both Oregon and Oregon State on the portal. The Danny and Justin radio program here. We've got some tickets to give away to Ohio State, Oregon men's basketball in just a few moments. So stay tuned for that. We'll do that before we get to Gary Stanton and the Peach Bowl and talk about what's going to happen in Atlanta on Friday and what you can do in Atlanta if you're traveling there, like I am tomorrow. So one more, and it's Noah Whittington, which is kind of timely with what we don't know yet for sure, what we think we know with the running back room, and how Noah Whittington has taken it on himself to be one of the leaders in that pack.
Like I'm the vet, so it's just, I feed off of just seeing my younger guys just have success, and they feed off me too. They always say you get us started, you get us going, like we feed off you. So, we feed off each other. Like sometimes I'm in games where the run's not hitting or I miss a hold. They're like, "Hey, bro, remember what you told me?" Like they'll tell me what I told them, and I'm like, "Damn, y'all sound like me. Like you coaching me up." So yeah, it's unique, man. It's special, and I'm glad I got the opportunity to share this time with them because a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people don't get freshmen that get to come in and that's ready and that's as talented as these guys. And I'm just happy that I got the opportunity to share the backfield with them.
So, with what we don't know about Jordan Davison yet, would it be I mean, it's not like it's cataclysmic. Would it be horrible to have 3 running backs and just concentrate on those 3 running backs? Yes. All deference to Jordan Davison, who brings an entirely different type of running prowess to that room, especially in you need 2 yards. You need to go smash mouth on something. But you just mentioned Noah Whittington has shown that he's got that ability to drive down and through a defender. But wouldn't it be okay to have a couple of running backs sharing the load and they get more carries, get themselves more, the engine keeps revving instead of starting and stopping? Is that horrible?
I don't think it's horrible. I think the argument throughout the season is you want a lot of guys to keep them fresh for, guess what, right now, right? When you're playing those big games.
But now you have. It's
now
2 games. It's a sprint now.
We know that a running back theoretically can take like 30 carries, right? 30, maybe even more if it's depending on the guy, right? So I don't think that Oregon is totally out of water, in the deep end here because of this injury. As I was saying, Noah Whittington.
Potential injury,
yes. Noah Whittington and De'Aaron Hill Jr., I think, can complement each other enough where you could use those guys I think you could use like a thunder and lightning with those 2 guys. Like, Noah Whittington hits hard enough where I think you can't just go, well, it's like you don't want to see 2 guys that are the same, and that maybe you can keep them fresh that way, but you don't want to just be one-dimensional in your running attack. I want to see Will Stein be able to use all the different types of run calls that he has, and that's why I think they do use some of those different guys. But no, I don't think that it's this total detriment to them because they have such a deep room. I honestly think if you had Noah Whittington out there for 30 carries, like that'd be fine. Like that'd be better than 90% of teams.
Absolutely. So that's all going to be played out here. And again, we'll watch the injury report. You'll be talking about it tomorrow, I'm sure, with Goose in the studio and how it's going to all fall out. Real quick, though, let's talk about, let's shift gears real quick to basketball. And Ducks come up short in overtime at Rutgers. But it was kind of, and you were texting me back and forth last night about Wei Lin, who had a breakout game. Again, no Jackson Shellstad. So the Ducks needed to lean into Wei Lin, who has had a rocky start in Dana Altman's offense and especially defense. Nate Biddle matched the season high with 28 points. The game went to overtime. Lin added 23. Ducks fell to Rutgers in overtime, 88-85. Didn't even get a shot off in the overtime in the last possession to try and tie the game. But I think you watched more of the game than I did. So
yeah, here's my assessment.
Okay,
Nate Biddle was awesome the entire game. Nate Biddle is awesome. Wei Lin started off really hot. He had 11 points in the first, 10 or 12 minutes of this game. And then he cooled off for a little bit, but then he picked it back up near the end of the fourth quarter and then overtime, where he was awesome. I mean, you could see exactly what they see in him. And I quite frankly think a little bit of what happened on that last possession was a bit of an inexperience from him. And he passed it around a little bit. I just felt like they didn't get the shot. They didn't get the shot they wanted, but right. I think that something happened with their play there. Like, they didn't clearly go with the play that they had. And then you had Kwame Evans Jr. He added 14 points. And other than that,
And 13 rebounds, by the way. He had
and 13
double-double.
rebounds, he was very good. But other than that, it was like you just didn't get a lot out of other players. And Takai Simpson's had this big homecoming. He was hoping to have a big performance. He had 7 points. He fouled out of the game as well. So, we kind of jinxed them yesterday. We talked about the Scarlet Knights and said, well, they didn't have Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper this time, and they beat them when they did. So they should win. And so, of course, this time, and they're on the road, and you never know what's going to happen. They had a couple players get really hot. What was his name?
Which one are you
Tariq
talking
Francis goes for 30 points off the bench.
30 minutes.
He was just on fire, lights out. It was a weird game for sure. Oregon certainly had their chances to win this one, but I think that, you don't want to lose. I think it sucks that they lost for them, obviously. But Wei Lin, I think it's big that he did something like that he flashed, and it wasn't just this flash in the pan. He had 6 threes in his career coming into this game. He had 6 threes in this game.
So Oregon, if you take this stat line normally, Oregon probably wins the game. 45% from the field, 40% from 3, 75% from the line, but they only went to the line 16 times. The free throw disparity
Well, did you see, Rutgers?
30 of 34 at the line. Now, Dana Altman said the thing he was disappointed in the postgame, he said our toughness wasn't very good, and we've got to get a lot more disciplined. And he's been talking about that. It's been a constant theme.
Well, and I don't know if this is the play he's talking about in particular, but it was it Davis Power? Mark. It was Lino Mark. He got this offensive rebound that was called a foul at the end of, I think it was regulation, where they would have had, basically nobody boxed him out, and they called a foul on him kind of inexplicably. It was a terrible call against Rutgers. Yeah. And I think that was just one of those plays where it's like, what are you guys doing? Like, box out. Like, how is this happening?
Those are the little things that
absolutely
can lose you a game, and it did.
One possession is all it takes.
Right. So Ducks are 8-7 now overall, 1-3 in the Big Ten. This is not a great loss. I mean, no losses are great, but they split the road trip back east. They come back home, take on Ohio State Thursday night, and so we have a pair of tickets to give away as we head to break. Ohio State, Oregon, 7:30 Thursday night. That's your appetizer before the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl on Friday night. One pair ticket right now for caller number 9 on the Oregon Man Clinics hotline at 541-343-5673. Caller number 9, a pair of tickets to Ohio State, Oregon men's basketball for Thursday night. Back with Gary Stokan from the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl on the Danny and Justin radio program. The Danny and Justin radio program rolls on with our wire-to-wire Peach Bowl coverage. The national semifinal will be in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, and we are very honored to have the CEO and El Presidente of the Peach Bowl Incorporated, positions he's held since 1998, and this is his last turn around the sun. It's the great Gary Stokan joining us. Gary, are you getting a bit reminiscent? Are you looking at things a little bit differently? As you know, this is your last time sitting in that chair as the CEO and president of this great game.
I'm a little worried now that you call me El Presidente after what Trump did with Maduro. So
and he's got a great sense of humor, too, folks.
No, it's been a great run. It's a blessed run. I've been able to spend 12 years in my corporate life as a volunteer for the Peach Bowl, and now 28 years as CEO and president. So it's been a lot of great relationships, a lot of challenges, but a lot of great accomplishments with a great team here with my board, who's some of the great companies in the city of Atlanta and Fortune 500 companies, and the best staff in the Bulls business. And as you'll learn, some of the great volunteers who provide Southern hospitality to our guests who come into big games here in Atlanta.
Sellouts in 22 of the past 25 seasons. This organization has distributed more than $280 million in team payouts and donated over almost $60 million since 2002. As Gary Stokan joins us to talk about the Peach Bowl. So let's start there, Gary. I mean, you've seen a lot and a lot of changes in the last couple of years, especially with the college football playoff. So how has it been that this game has endured and been able to navigate what has been choppy waters in college football over the last decade?
Well, I had started in 1998 as president of the Atlanta Sports Council and president and CEO of the Peach Bowl. And we were just coming off the Olympic Games in '96, and Bob Costas termed a phrase that Atlanta is becoming the sports capital of the world. And so we got with McKinsey. We developed a strategy to go raise some money and put on our board the top vice president of marketing of the Fortune 500 companies like the Cokes, the Deltas, the Home Depots, the Georgia Powers, the Aflac, Chick-fil-A, et cetera. And we developed a strategy to become the sports capital of the world. So we went out, got Super Bowls, Final Fours, men's and women's, ACC basketball tournament, the NBA, NHL, and NBA All-Star games, WrestleMania. I could tell you a story about Vince McMahon on that one. But, so we made Atlanta the sports capital of the world. And then parallel to that, with the Peach Bowl, I made a trip to the College Football Hall of Fame in South Bend, Indiana.
Right.
And it was very antiquated and very old. And I said, man, this would be fantastic in Atlanta. So I started an endeavor and a vision to bring the Hall of Fame to Atlanta and signed a 30-year license with the National Football Foundation to bring the Hall here. And we in 2010, and we opened it in 2014. Always wanted to get into the BCS. We were unsuccessful, but when the presidents legislated a 12th game to the schedule, I created the Chick-fil-A kickoff game at the beginning of the season,
Right.
and which has become the Aflac kickoff game. And I told my board, I said, they're not going to let us in the BCS. We're going to start the BCS on the front side of the season, because I'm very competitive.
Wow.
And I called it the Daytona 500 of college football, and I got a cease and desist letter from Daytona 500. But we basically changed the face of college football on the front side of the season. And along with those things, we sold out 18 straight Chick-fil-A Peach Bowls
Right.
in the Georgia Dome. And I think the commissioners looked when they went to the CFP and said, hey, these guys deserve a chance. And so we got in 14, and we've had 4 semifinals in this, our last year of the 12-year contract. In every semifinals, we've hosted one in the country. And over the last 7 years, we've only trailed the Rose Bowl in TV viewership numbers and attendance numbers.
Wow.
So it's kind of been like the Phoenix rising from the ashes in Atlanta here.
And this matchup in particular, it's definitely a marquee matchup between Oregon and Indiana. What excites you about this game in particular?
Well, anytime you can have the 2 top 10 offense and defenses in the country playing with 2 star quarterbacks, one a Heisman Trophy winner and one that could be the first pick in the NBA draft potentially in Dante Moore and Fernando Menendez, sets up for a great matchup. When you take Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which I think is the best stadium in the country with concession prices that are at their lowest in the NFL, so it lends itself to great fan experience, 2 college bands and 2 college teams, fans who don't sit down in a sold-out atmosphere, along with a halo board, which is an additive experience to the whole sight lines, which are fantastic. I think it sets up to be a wonderful, wonderful matchup and a great atmosphere. We'll promise you 72 degrees.
All right.
We may promise you that on Wednesday and Thursday as well, believe it or not.
That's fantastic. The wife will love that as we fly in tomorrow morning to Atlanta and stay for a few extra days before the football game. As we are with Gary Stokan. He's the CEO and president of the Peach Bowl, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl featuring Indiana and Oregon. It's the college football semifinal that's going to kick off 7:30 local time. It'll be 4:30 here on the left coast on Friday. And we'll already know who's going to be in the other side of that championship final because Fiesta Bowl kicks off on Thursday night. So the Peach Bowl's got it all to themselves on Friday evening. Gary, and I know I'm not flatter you here, but it's pretty it's pretty interesting to talk to a guy that's got an award named after him. Most times awards are named after people that aren't with us anymore, but you've got the Gary Stokan Hero of the Gridiron Award that the Georgia Lions name every year. And I just got to say, as I'm looking over your bio and the things that you've done over the past couple of decades down there in Atlanta, the revitalization of what you called, Atlanta being the sports capital, the sports center of America and the world, that was just not an easy lift. I mean, it was like layer after layer after layer. So again, how easy is it for you to step away from all of this?
Well, I told people when I announced my retirement in August, I said I looked up the word retirement in the dictionary, and it said ceasing to work. And I said, well, I guess I can't retire because I haven't worked a day in my life in 48 years because I've been in sports, and it's been a passion of mine. I've had the opportunity to be out there in Portland and work for Adidas and put Kobe Bryant's first shoe together and first TV advertisement, first marketing campaign, global marketing campaign. I've signed Mike Krzyzewski, the best basketball coach in history. I've signed Herschel Walker, the best college football player in history. Had Michael Jordan ready to sign, and Adidas didn't give me the money, and he wound up signing with Nike. But Michael wanted to sign with me and Adidas. I've coached basketball. I've had my own sports marketing company. I've done so many things, and have so many stories, and have so many great experiences and memories that it's going to be tough to leave, but my staff will be able to make a little bit more money with me gone. They'll be able to put the next layer of the foundation that we've been able to lay, and so I'll be able to coach up my 10, 8, 7, and 5-year-old grandsons.
Oh, that's fantastic. He marries his high school sweetheart. You've been together, 43 years, Tatia?
Yeah, my wife is the best. She's the best grandmother, best wife, best mother, best daughter. My daughters still call her every day to check in, and my daughters are 43 and 40, so they have a great relationship. I spent so much time on the road that they were so supportive that I'm very blessed to have someone like Tia.
So as we start to talk about the hospitality, you mentioned it at the top, Southern hospitality, it's world-renowned. For the Duck fans, within the sound of your voice, are going to be making that trip, and many of them possibly for the first time to Atlanta. What are they going to experience, or if there's 2 or 3 things that they need to see while they're there? Because I know there are going to be fans that are going to be traveling in a little early like I am. What are those things besides the College Football Hall of Fame?
Yeah, definitely the College Football Hall of Fame. But on Thursday night, I know people will probably want to watch the Fiesta Bowl, but we're going to have the Oregon cheerleaders and pep band over at the aquarium for fan night. So if you can't get there Thursday night, get there Thursday during the day. Go to the aquarium. It's the biggest in the world, and it's a unique, great experience. So I would do the Hall of Fame. I would do the aquarium. On Friday at 2:30, we open up our Fan Fest at Georgia World Congress Center in Hall C, and there's huge activations and activities, sponsor activations. Both bands and cheerleaders will be in there doing pep rallies, so that'll get you fired up before the game. And then right now, Oregon is planning to do a team walk through Home Depot backyard into Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Wow.
If it doesn't rain. So if it doesn't rain, make sure you're out in the Home Depot backyard, which is right next to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. There's a grassy area there. And Oregon will let out its players, and they'll walk through the band and the cheerleaders and the fans right into Mercedes-Benz Stadium for a kick at, I think we're going to kick at 7:45 Eastern in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Gary Stokan joining us, the visionary, the CEO, the president of the Peach Bowl, as the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl features Oregon and Indiana in a top 5 matchup for a berth in the college football national championship game, which will be in Miami on the 19th. So, Gary, as we wind things up, how do you see, and you'll be, I know you're still going to be involved in some way. I just from the sound of your voice, I don't think you're going to be sitting in an easy chair just watching the world go by you. But as college football keeps evolving, as college athletics keep evolving with transfer portals, with NIL, and the focus on bowl games overall and overreaching, where would you, if you had your dream scenario, where would you see the postseason go in terms of college football?
Yeah, I've been asked that a lot,
Okay.
And I appreciate the question. I think college athletics lost its way. It used to be that, we were in college athletics to give a kid a free education, a scholarship to get a free education, and then get them a degree. And I think we've lost our way there. I worry about this generation with all the transferring and no connectivity to universities that, there's going to be some mental health issues because this financial windfall is not going to last. And 98% of these kids aren't going to play pro. Mm-hmm. And even if you do play pro, you're there for most cases 3 years. You don't make it to the fourth year of free agency where you make generational money. So, they're losing 30% to agents. They get taxed. They're sending the rest home to mom and dad or to take care of their brothers and sisters and family.
Yeah.
That's going to dry up in 3 years. And then what happens when they transfer 2 and 3 times and don't have any connectivity to an alumni base to help them get a job? So I lay that as a foundation. I would take, and I would have Power 4 play Power 4 in a kickoff game the first week of the season to kick off college football.
Okay.
And then I would move to a 10-game schedule. I would get rid of championship games. I'd have a 16-team playoff that would start probably the first week in December, and then have the quarters and the semis and the championship game finish somewhere between January 1st and the 9th. I would have the transfer portal start immediately after that, and then I would move back the signing date to February for the high school kids. Mm-hmm. So like the free agency in the NFL, you have transfer portal, and then you have the draft. Yeah. Then I would have spring ball in April and May. I'd do OTAs instead of spring ball. And then I would have summer camp somewhere July 7th through the end of July, and I'd start the season in third week in August. I'd let them transfer once unless their coach was fired or left, so they can get a degree and make sure that they have some connectivity. I'd get rid of betting. I'd conglomerate the TV rights of all the conferences so we can make more money from our TV rights rather than let the TVs stagger the contracts with the conferences so they can dictate the TV deals. And I would start a commissioner of college football, basketball, baseball, and women's basketball with a board that's comprised of 2 players, 2 coaches, 2 presidents, 2 commissioners, and 2 ADs that know that sport. And I would have the Olympic sports all compete regionally under the national governing bodies of USA Track and Field, USA Swimming and Diving, USA Gymnastics, USA Volleyball, USA Wrestling, etc. So they can start to get ready for the Olympics, because 80% of our Olympic teams comprised of college athletics. So, and I would, any type of financial wherewithal, I'd get rid of pay for play, and I'd make it more, number one, if you get your degree, and number 2, I'd kind of give people a scholarship forever. If they don't get their degree in 5 years, let them come back free.
Right. And
I would do something with the medical care of student athletes, whether it's 10 years or for lifetime if they get hurt, during their athletic career. So that's probably about 20 things I named off.
That was
so
very
Gary,
well thought out.
Gary, there is not one thing in there I disagree with you on, and I know you're going to be unemployed here shortly. Why don't you become the commissioner? Please, I'm begging you.
Well, we need somebody. We just need a focus, and basketball needs the same, and so does baseball, and it's just frustrating.
Man.
We need Congress to play a role as well. And I know a lot of people are trying different things, but I just think we need a focus. Like, if we're going to be professionalized athletics, which is what it's becoming,
Correct.
we need to act like we're business people and we're professionals. And anyway, it's a little frustrating because my parents have taught me you want to leave things better than you found them. And although I've left the Peach Bowl better than I found it, I feel like we've gone backwards with college athletics, which I was a benefactor. My dad made $17,000, the most money he ever made, working 3 jobs. And I was blessed to get a scholarship and get my education free and, became a productive citizen in society. And I think that's the 98% of the kids that are coming through college, whether it's football, basketball, tennis, soccer, lacrosse, whatever. That's what we should be focused on, getting those kids a degree and getting them a job.
Well, Gary, you've put a ton in and given a ton back through your blood, sweat, tears, your innovation, and your energy. So don't sell yourself short. You have left it better, and maybe the rest of college athletics can take the Peach Bowl, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, as an example of what we could do elsewhere. Gary, thank you very much for your time. If I can meet up with you when I'm down there in Atlanta and introduce you to my beautiful wife, that would be an honor to be able to shake your hand, especially since it's your last go around the sun as the CEO and president. But God bless you for what you've done for college athletics and for the Peach Bowl.
Well, thank you. It's been a blessed run, a labor of love, and I look forward to meeting you in the press box and saying hello, and anything we can do, let us know, and travel safe.
I will. You won't see me in the press box, though. I get to be a fan, so I'm just going to tell you.
Good for you. That's better.
I'll be in section 129, so maybe I'll see you in the club.
I look forward to it.
All right, thanks
Gary.
so
much again, guys. Appreciate you.
And when I say the club, it's the club at the stadium, not like...
There's a lot of good clubs in Atlanta.
Have you ever been to Atlanta?
I have been to Atlanta. I can't remember how much I've hung out there. I used to live in Jacksonville, so not too far from Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you were down there. By the way, congratulations, Micah Hipsman. He's a truck driver from Mount Angel, driving around, listening to the Danny and Justin radio program, and won himself tickets to Ohio State, Oregon. Let's talk a little bit women's basketball, transfer portal as well. When we come back, Danny and Justin here on a Tuesday. Oregon women basketball on the road, big test, 7 p.m. tonight at the Galen Center as the Ducks visit number 21 USC. Ducks coming off an 87-54 win over Northwestern, getting their first Big Ten win of the season. USC suffered their first loss Saturday. They fell to UCLA and fell hard, as they say, 80-46. Wow. Ducks under Coach Kelly Graves, 13-3 overall. They're starting to receive some votes in the coaches poll, and they're 26 in the net. They're just 1-2 in the Big Ten. Trojans are 10-4, 2-1 in the Big Ten. So win would give Oregon a 2-2 record, 3-1 in true road games this season, and 5-2 in all away games from home.
So they're getting some votes, huh?
They're starting to get some votes in the coaches poll.
You know why that is?
Because you're voting in the coaches poll?
I am not voting in the coaches poll. It's because of that game against Michigan, I think. I think that was the game that...
Started to get that, yeah.
Listen.
I'm not disagreeing.
Would have loved to win that game,
sure.
But at the same time, I think that you go up against a team like that and put up a performance the way that they did, you're going to start to get some respect. I think the whole there's no such thing as a good loss conversation, I think that's not true. I think there sometimes is such a thing as a good loss.
So Oregon after the Tuesday matchup tonight, which is Tuesday, thank you. Our days are still running together, folks. Michigan State on Sunday at home. That's a 2 p.m. tip-off. And then they're on the road for 2 at Iowa and at Wisconsin Thursday and Sunday. So Coach Graves, a lot of powdered eggs at the Marriott as he heads to the Midwest. So you'll talk about that tomorrow. By the way, I'm off for the rest of the week. I'll make an appearance on Friday. There'll be a special show on Friday, a 3-hour show on Friday, noon to 3, before the Peach Bowl, before the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Justin will be in studio, a co-host to be named.
It'll be special, that's for sure.
We're drafting. Justin's a little anxious, but we're going to get him through it. Okay?
No comment.
We put a lot on his shoulders when I'm not here. Let's just put it that way. But you always do well. I mean, you can have some confidence on that. All right, so let's talk about the transfer portal. Alonzo Barnett, who we just saw playing for JMU, left JMU. He's already with the Scarlet Knights of UCF now. So he's with Scott Frost, a known offensive
Genius.
Rocco Becht, pardon me,
Yeah.
followed Matt Campbell from Iowa State to Penn State. He'll be the new quarterback there. Just Billy Edwards Jr., who we saw. And Billy Edwards Jr. came from Maryland to Wisconsin. Now he's headed to Bill Belichick and North Carolina.
Yeah, he barely played for Wisconsin. He was supposed to be their savior.
Indiana's got their new quarterback for next year with Fernando Mendoza going bye-bye. TCU's Josh Hoover has transferred to Indiana. Those are some of the big names that have moved around a bit. Running back room, there's really nothing that stands out huge except Mekhi Hughes went to Houston. So
But how do you even evaluate Mekhi Hughes at this point
can't.
if you're a team? Because
I don't know.
he was the number one running back transfer coming into this year.
You're going to
but
look
now
at his
he has
tape from
no
Tulane.
tape.
Right. You're going to look at his tape from Tulane. That's what you. The only thing
I guess
you
you
can
have
do.
to, but that still seems like it's a risk. Do they have a star value? Did you see that? Did
No,
they have a
I
star
didn't
value on him?
see that. That's a great question.
Because I'd like to see what they rated him. We could probably find this out pretty fast.
I'm sure you probably could. While I'm looking through the rest of this, we could go through all of them, but that'll be for another program. I want to concentrate more on who is in the portal right now for Oregon and for Oregon State. Let's start with Oregon State because
Three-star transfer.
Oh, so that's not great.
No.
So Oregon State's had a couple of commitments. Xavier Nolan is one of the big ones, wide receiver who played at one level down at the FCS level.
I wouldn't call him one of the big ones, as he is 5'6".
Okay,
He's a little bit of a height joke there.
He's supposed to be a pretty good wide receiver.
He's supposed to be very fast.
And they're going to need it because here's some of the names that have, it's amazing to me, that have entered the portal for Oregon State. It's an exodus. Thomas Collins, redshirt sophomore, edge rusher. Dexter Foster, Darius Clemens, Trent Walker, who got a medical redshirt approved, and he's taking that elsewhere. Taz Reddix, another wide receiver, gone.
Zach Card.
Gone. Riley Williams, the big tight end, who never really hung out. He went to Miami first, came to Oregon State, never was an impact at the tight end position. Central Catholic kid, he's in the portal. Conrad Hussey, a safety, he's in
the guy that transferred in late in the year. They thought he'd be an impact. He didn't become an impact.
So let's take a look at what Oregon's got in the portal right now. Running back Jay Harris, defensive back Dalen Austin, tight end Cade Caton, which, I mean, that tight end room is stacked. Lipe Malula, the inside offensive lineman, who just had 10 snaps in his first 2 games of the season, hasn't seen the field since. Kyler Casper, who's oft injured, he's a wide receiver. He's entering the portal. We knew that Austin Novosad would with that quarterback room and with Will Stein leaving. But Will Stein got himself another quarterback, a different quarterback. So I don't know where Austin's going to land.
Yeah,
unless he's going to go
He got somebody. He got somebody good. I forgot who it was.
It was, I think it was the kid from. I want to say here real quick because it would just happen today. I think. I think it was one of the kids.
It was somebody good.
Was it?
It was.
Ellis, it was
the guy that was supposed to go to Nebraska.
And flipped.
Kenny Minchie.
Okay. Yeah,
and he flipped. So, yeah, I know that Nebraska fans weren't happy about that. And they apparently are visiting with Sam Levitt as well.
Okay, good luck on you. And I think Sam Levitt's going to go visit LSU next, which is probably where the landing spot's going to be for him.
Could be, because it sounds like Trinidad Campbell is going to come back to Ole Miss if he has his medical red shirt approved. If not, he'll have to go to the NFL.
The defensive backs that are in the portal, Solomon Davis, Sione Laleo, Kingston Lopa, Dakota Fields, Jahil Florence, who commits to Missouri. Fields commits to Oklahoma. Lopa is committing to Tosh Lupoi's defense in Cal. We already talked about Mekhi Hughes at Houston. Jaden Lamar, who just entered today into the portal. And so it's going to have to be some movement now. Of course, a lot of these guys maybe look at the room and go, am I going to get on the field?
Mekhi Hughes already committed to University of Houston, by the way.
Yeah, Houston.
So I think that all these guys, it makes sense for them to transfer. And I think for Oregon, there really isn't anyone on here because they didn't lose any starters, right? So there isn't anyone on here that I sit there and go, you know what? Like, I don't know how we're going to be able to replace this guy.
I agree with you.
Oh, a joke!
I got fired from the bank today. A woman asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her.
Dad jokes!
Why didn't Han Solo like his steak? Why didn't Han Solo like his steak?
Something about something about being solo. I don't know.
No, because it was chewy.
But he likes Chewy.
Nope, probably because it was chewy.
Yeah, that's true.
Didn't want to eat its friend.
Right.
All right, I'm off for the rest of the week. Justin and Goose are going to take you on Wednesday and Thursday to get you further ready for the Peach Bowl. I will call in on Friday from Atlanta, where we will be in attendance. God bless. Put a smile on your face. Someone else's. They deserve it. So do you. Peace.